Our heart is conditioned to be upset and uptight and just frustrated. And it's, man, life's hard. But all the while, these words are true. And like Jesus said, that he reveals it to babes. That this idea of not worrying and just letting the reality of God's will be so unto us, that the wise and prudent of this age, they don't even see these things. But if we could humble ourselves and become as little children, how these things are so easy to grasp to a child. God just wants to take care of me. I don't have to do anything because he has done everything. And my job is just to be in a position to receive from him. And let me just jump ahead here to the end. In 2 Corinthians, because this is what I found. In 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 11, Paul made this statement. He said, "O Corinthians, we have spoken openly to you. Our heart is wide open. You're not restricted by us, but you're restricted by your own affections. Now in return for the same, I speak as to children, you also be open." This is what I found, that the number one reason that we don't receive more from God is because our heart is constricted. God wants to do good things for us, but he works through the cooperation of our heart resting and trusting in him. And even though he wants to do good, if our heart is closed off, he's not able to do for us what he desires to do. And so Paul is telling the Corinthians that listen, I've spoken openly to you. I've brought all that is available unto you. The restriction that you have, it's not from our side. It's not from the sender side. It's all there. The restriction is in your own affections. It's in your own heart. Your heart's so narrow that you're only getting a little bit of what I'm saying. So what I'm telling you to do is to open up your heart and make more room for God to pour into you. And that sounds so easy, but it's actually not very easy, because like I said, we're so conditioned to work and to struggle and to try to earn it ourselves. And a lot of the Israelites fell into this same trap. You know, and whenever Jesus came and it was a stumbling block, it said to the Greeks, or to the Jews, and foolishness to the Greeks, because they kept reverting back to trying to earn it. In Romans chapter 9, it says that Israel, pursuing the law of righteousness, did not attain to the law because they did not seek it by faith, as it were by the works of law. They just couldn't get over the fact that they didn't have to earn it. They were so stuck on the fact that I got to work for this. And that works mentality, although from an outside standpoint might look admirable. Well, man, they want to work for God. It might look admirable, but it's contrary to the heart of God, that he doesn't want us to work for it. He wants us to receive his blessing. And it causes our heart to be out of position to receive from him whenever we're trying to earn something from him. And so it takes training to get still before him, because our heart is antsy and we just want to go try to make something happen. And so we have to sometimes take ourselves by the ear and say, we're going to sit in the presence of the Lord, and we're going to allow these things which are so to begin to make more sense to us. And our heart must stay in that place so that we can learn how to be still and receive from him everything that he wants. It's the wisdom of God, but it's available and it's a blessing to those who believe it. To those who believe it. Jesus said in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." I will give you rest. It's not something that you have to earn. I will give you rest. And he makes mention of the contrast between what he wants to do and what the world's way is when he refers to the young lions, the strongest and the fittest. He says in Psalm 34:10 that they suffer lack. They are hungry and suffer lack, but those who seek the Lord don't lack for any good thing. And I believe in working hard, and I believe in doing excellent, but our heart must understand the condition of God wanting to do good to us, that he wants to bring good things to us. And when we try to earn something that he wants to freely give us, we frustrate his grace. And we have to learn how to overcome a worldly way of thinking, which is working hard to try to make it happen. It's not working to try to produce something. It's actually working to get our hearts still to be able to receive from him. And remember whenever he said that in Hebrews chapter 4, he said, let us labor to enter into that rest. Let us labor to enter into that rest. He said, in John chapter 6, Jesus said that the work of God is to believe in him who he sent. And so that's what we want to do tonight, is just spend some time working, so to speak, laboring to enter into that rest, because those who believe, they enter into the rest. And from that place of rest, that's where we're able to find the contentment that we need and every other good thing. But it takes work. It takes discipline. It takes training, because our heart's not conditioned to be at rest. Our heart is so, nervous and anxious and looking for, the quick solution. And it's outside of our natural nature to be still in God's presence. And so we're going to do that tonight. We're going to just spend some time just getting still in his presence and just letting him nourish us and minister to us. And I know all of us know how to do this already, but we're going to do it again. And for anybody that's online that maybe doesn't understand what I'm talking about here, is that you want to work to be able to find contentment in his presence. You want to work to be able to find the place where your heart doesn't want to be doing something else. Because that's when you know you're doing it right, whenever you actually like being in his presence. And it's going to take a little bit of ear holding at the beginning to say, no, we're not going to pick up our phone. We're not going to go do this or do that. We're going to sit here, because although I may not believe it yet, I humble myself to God's wisdom that his way's higher than mine. And it's not beneficial for me to try to make it happen. It's more beneficial to sit in his presence and let him untangle my heart and bring stillness in there and bring the clarity that I need so I can see what to do. But I got to get still first before that clarity can emerge. And so, at the very beginning, you might be able to get 5 minutes. But do that. Spend 5 minutes in his presence where you enjoy that. Then you got to get on with your day and go do the other things you have to do. But little by little, you increasing the amount of time that you sincerely find contentment in his presence is exactly how you're going to grow. You're going to grow into more of God. Not that you're going to make more happen, but you're growing and your heart is getting wider and you're able to receive more from the Lord. There's nothing he's withholding from us. There's nothing he's withholding from us. We've heard this over and over again, that God is blessing us as far as he's able. God is blessing us as far as he's able. And the more we open our hearts to him, the more he's able to bless us. So Brittany, could you come back up? I'm going to just say a couple more thoughts, and then we're going to turn the stream off for the benefit of those online, just so that you can hear this. And then we're just going to enter back into his presence and just get quiet and rest in his presence a little bit. There's many tools in God's toolbox, so to speak. I was reading the scriptures that talk about all wisdom and all kinds of prayers, and there's all these different methods. Jody was sharing with me a testimony that, she said, Lord, I know your will. What is your way? We know what God's will is, but what is his way? There's many tools in the toolbox, and resting in the presence of the Lord is just one tool in that toolbox. There's other ways, but specifically in this way, these are a couple things that I wanted to make mention of what we're able to find as we rest in his presence. When we rest in his presence and we get still, in Psalm 46:10 it says, "Be still and know that I am Lord, that I am the Lord." So when we get still in his presence, it helps us see the bigness of God and the littleness of our problem. When we get still in his presence, it helps us be in a position for anxiety to drain out of us. When we get still in his presence, it helps us let patience have its perfect work in us. When we get still in his presence, it helps us to find contentment. When we get still in his presence, it helps us find direction. And when we get still in his presence, it helps our heart be in a position that when it's at rest, that the healing power of God can work in our body. There's so many great benefits in being still in the presence of the Lord. And you have to start at some point. At some point, you have to say, you know what? I believe that. I'm going to go get quiet with the presence of the Lord. And I know that if you do that, his presence will come and meet you. And in his presence is fullness of joy. And when you tap into that joy, you're going to want that. And you're going to want to come back and again. So everybody online, it's been a pleasure ministering to you this year. I hope you have great holidays. We'll see